back to this third session of our overall series of the CSRM podcast about how local churches can engage in a martial arts outreach. First segment, we talked a lot about the background, the history. We explored these beautiful uniforms. The second one, we started to talk about why this is theologically sound, how it's compatible. And we started to move into a whole area that you guys shared even more so at the Reach gathering that we're all at, which says to me, why weren't you at Reach? This is the kind of thing that you can get at Reach. Be there next year, 2020, April, and we're going to be back here at Ridgecrest. Senior Master Heath, I'm going to go right to you because we cut off last time where you said even at Reach something happened that's going to enhance what you do in your ministry.
Absolutely. So I said before, I'm the next generation pastor at my church, and so ultimately,
Next generation. What does that mean?
It's a unique title. So we saw the need to bring our ministries to all the different age-graded areas under one umbrella.
Okay.
And so I lead the staff team for preschool children, middle school, high school, college, young families, and recreation.
And if somebody's out there saying, I like that, they can contact you.
Absolutely.
And if you're watching this, we're going to have stuff on the screen, contact, all that, but go ahead.
So our ministries were very siloed. In fact, when I came to the church, we had preschoolers doing a completely different curriculum than children. They were doing a different curriculum than children, than students in college. And so in a next generation ministry model, we have families collectively doing the same biblical content when they come for small groups and discipleship. And so when a family leaves church on Sunday, they can sit around the dinner table and have a conversation with their 3-year-old, their 7-year-old, and their 16-year-old, all about what they talked in Sunday school. And so we just talked about the wall of Jericho falling last Sunday. Now it's going to be at a completely different depth for a 16-year-old than a 3-year-old. But yet a parent can take home what we call parent points that we provide to ask questions that engages the 3-year-old at their level and the 16-year-old at their level, and be able to, as a family, talk about the same spiritual truth. And so it's been really valuable to bring families together. Recreation being a key part in what we do. Historically, we've done the basketball leagues and the cheerleading leagues and the volleyball leagues for children and for adults. But at the same time, we began to notice that the whole family still doesn't get to participate together. Just like we weren't doing whole family devotionals because we were fragmented, a parent may bring their kid to a sport activity, but then maybe the most activity they get is being a coach or a referee. In Taekwondo ministry, we market the entire family. In fact, at my church, that is my number one audience that we want to reach out to, is the family. One, because we have a year-round activity that they can do continuously together, but also from a 7-year-old to a 74-year-old, and that's the current age range that I have in my program, they come together. And we are in class, in uniform together. And so I have a mom who's a widow. She has 2 kids in elementary school and a kid in middle school. They've done the other sports things, and she's just been on the bleachers. Kids wanted to do Taekwondo when we promoted the program, and so they come to the class, and mom sat on the bleachers like she assumed her position like she has always done. And at the end of the class, she walks up and she says, there's a lot of adults out there. Is this something that I can do? And so she missed the first class, but she signed up with her kids because she realized it was something that she could do. It's physical, it's going to help her with her health, but it's also going to have a unique component for the family. There's a phrase that I don't know who wrote it, but I love it and I use it. It's the family that kicks together, sticks together. And we really like to see families coming together. My mom, brother, and sister all do Taekwondo. And we've done it since the early 90s together. And it has been something that we've been through crisis together, we've been through challenges together, we've been through ups and downs, and yet it's something that we've been able to do as a family. We've been able to practice together.
Okay, now I'm just going to cut you off because I want people to not miss something.
Okay.
Senior Master Heath has just said something that I heard you say one time, Grandmaster Manny, and that is that maybe the basketball leagues, the kids are playing, and everybody else is in the stands.
Right.
Softball, maybe the dads are playing and everybody else is in the stands.
Right. Right.
This is a very unique ministry for a church because it's intergenerational.
Yeah.
Am I catching that right?
You are correct. One of the things we don't want to do is split up the family more. And so many of the activities, that's what they do. You know, they might have dinner together, but then after that they have to run off to various places.
Did you hear that? Did you catch this?
Yeah.
You don't have to run the kid to that practice and over there. This is a family activity.
Right, you can go together to a class, your Taekwondo class, and the beautiful thing is that the same expectations that we would have of a younger student would be the same that we would have for an older student. So they're really all advancing together. They all are deserving of their own, advancement through the belts.
Yes.
And we're keeping them together. And really, there's nothing more wonderful that we can think of, when a family can, benefit together, and and then become black belts together, perhaps even masters, together. And so they have that in common. And there's this great pride when a young kid, reaches a black belt level, and their parents reach a black belt level, but they know that they were deserving of that also. So there's that equal, base, for all of them.
Now, I have a very, very significant bond with my two children because I coached both of them in basketball. But my wife was left out of it.
Right.
And my kids and I have this incredible bond, but all the other kids on the team, they don't have that bond with their parent. This is something, and you have done something else, if I hear it right. You have integrated the next generation ministry with this sports outreach ministry. Keep going on where you were going, Heath.
Yeah, absolutely. So the thing that I've just picked up actually just a few sessions ago here at Reach is, we do a devotional time in between our classes. And so there's a period of time that I have the vast majority of all of my participants in the gym at the same time. And so while they're warming up and getting ready for class, we'll sit down and we'll talk through a spiritual truth, or we'll do a devotional. But one of the questions that I came to Reach with is, I need more of a theme, I need more of a curriculum to be able to utilize on an ongoing basis. It's not a 6-week, 12-week season where I can just pick up a season booklet and do some devotionals. I've got 52 weeks out of the year that I'm seeing these people. And so one of the things, and I went to a class on biblical curriculum for sports ministry, and one of the participants said something that was profound for me, is that they tie the devotion to their recreation activity to the small group curriculum that the church is already utilizing. And so as a next gen pastor, I spent a year changing curriculums everywhere to get everybody to do the exact same thing. And the thought for me to be able to introduce the biblical truth that they're going to learn in small group and Sunday school next Sunday, not only is showing the kids who go to Sunday school and small group, and this is important even to Master Heath, but it's also telling my unchurched families, hey, here's a snapshot of what we do when you come to church. Let me give you a kind of the Cliff Notes ahead of time, so that way you aren't worried about going to a small group and trying to figure out what it is that they're talking about. And so that's one of my takeaways from this event, is I plan to utilize our Sunday school curriculum for the next generation model as the devotional for the week leading up to their time. And so they'll know, leading Taekwondo, what they're going to be talking about in small groups on Sunday.
So, initially, what does a church need to do to envision this? What do they need?
Well, first of all, I really believe that they shouldn't do anything unless they really, are convinced that this is something that is fitting for the church. They should not listen to us because we believe that a ministry, Taekwondo ministry, is good for them. I don't think they should do that. I really believe that they should do this only because they really see the value in it. We are totally convinced that any church that wishes to have a Taekwondo ministry, we can help them. We're convinced that we know how to do that. what we need is churches that see that that's what they want, that they see that this is a great value, to their church, that's going to serve the church. This is not to serve the Taekwondo ministry. This is to serve the church, to unify the church. As Heath was saying, if we can communicate to our Taekwondo students the message that's coming on Sunday and whet their appetite during our Taekwondo practice, what better, lead up can there be than that? Don't miss this Sunday, because our pastor's going to be talking about that. So the church has to clearly see this is something.
Say that again, just in case somebody just fell asleep, or they were driving in their commute and they were listening to this and some car cut them off. Say that again about the pastor and.
Yeah, this is something that the pastor has to be, first of all, completely agreeable to the Taekwondo ministry. They have to be convinced that this is fitting for their church, because this is going to serve the church.
And how's it going to serve the church?
It's going to serve the church because everything is leading to what the mission of the church. The mission of the church is to bring people to Christ. And so not only is that going to be happening perhaps in a Taekwondo class with a new student, but if it doesn't happen in a class, it's going to be with the message that the pastor will deliver on Sunday. So really it's everybody working together for the same purpose, which is again, for the name of Christ, to bring glory to His name. That is what this program is about. It's about nothing else. We have a national champion in North Carolina. He just won at 17 years old. He won a national champion, meaning the association, meaning Victory Taekwondo Ministries. And so we have a national. He competed at the international level, got bronze. So we do it at a very high level, but Nate knows what's more important. And it's not the medal, not the gold medal that he won at the national level, or the bronze that he won at the international level. He knows the most important thing is his relationship with God. That not the medal at the stand, where he's standing as a champion, but a champion again that he knows, if I want to be a champion, I'm a champion because I know what's most important, and it's my relationship with God, and getting closer and closer to God. That's what's most important. That is what we want to be anchored to. That is our hope, and we want our members to know exactly that. What is most important? We use this as a platform to tell them what is most important.
I am excited. For those of you that are just kind of tuning into this, it was 3 years ago, I think, that you and I had our first conversation.
I remember that. I was driving the car.
And we had this conversation, and we were considering, is this something that we want to have at Reach? And I said, you have to convince me of the theological and how this can help what we're trying to do evangelistically, disciple-making ways. And you did, obviously. And then
Took an hour and a half.
And then we had you 2 years ago at Reach. We started to percolate. And you and I then said, we want to envision doing what we're doing right now so that we can continue to expand this. And on behalf of Reach, on behalf of the entire CSRM community, I want to thank you, because what you have brought previously and continuing, and now, Heath, what you have brought this year, is you have brought the very heart of Christ to our whole community. And I really believe that what's going to happen in our next couple segments as we continue on down this road, that you that are watching or listening to this, you're going to be able to conceptualize. They're going to be able to envision. And then they're going to be able to, you are going to be able to say, We can do that. They're going to need to start small, right? They're going to need to grow it. They're going to need to find the right facilities, equipment, and all that kind of stuff, which will come in another segment. But all of that is what we're going to help them know how to go do this. And as a result of your faithfulness, my dear brother, and your dear wife, who's sitting over here watching this, and now your faithfulness, there are going to be people in the kingdom because of what you've done.
Amen.
That's why we do this. That's why we have reach. That's why CSRM exists. I'm going to ask you that have watched this. I want you to put this up on your social media. I want you to spread this word. I want you to get it out so that other people can grab hold of this vision and grab hold of the hearts of these men, of what they live for each and every day. This world will never be the same if you can help spread this word. We ask for you to do that. Manny, would you say a quick prayer for all those that are watching, listening?
I will. Dear Lord, we thank you, first of all. We thank you for who you are, just for creating each one of us uniquely, dear Lord. We don't know, Lord, why you even do certain things. I sometimes wonder, why not soccer? I love soccer. Why not use me there? But Lord, you decided to use me right where I am with what I do through the martial arts. I'm prepared, Lord, to do your will and to take this, Lord, where you want it to go. That's what I'm prepared for. Dear Lord, I just ask those that are listening that you speak into their hearts also, and that you let them know just who you are, and that you too can work through them, just the way they are. I ask you to remove any obstacle of anybody right now that you want to lead, and they have all these excuses. Maybe some that have thought of coming here to Reach Gathering, and every year they have an excuse. I just ask you to remove all fears, dear Lord, and for us to only see you, dear Lord, and what you are able to do through us. When we look up to you humbly, as broken people, as lost people, and say, here we are, Lord, you created me, and I want to be used for you, for your name, to bring honor to you, to glorify you, dear Lord. It is in your name that we pray. Amen.
Thank you, brother. Thank you both for being so willing to be here. If you are listening to this and you would like to know how to get in touch with these men, in touch with CSRM, go on our website. We can connect you, communicate with us, or maybe go back and find this and watch the video, because it's all been on the screen there. You can have a great ministry, a great martial arts ministry. Thanks for joining us. More segments are coming up in the future on this. Look for them.